The office Christmas party was canceled this year. Mr. Sterling, our CEO, said it was about solidarity in tough times. He sent a memo from his corner office, the one with the Italian marble floors and the view of the skyline, telling us to tighten our belts. I was his executive assistant. I knew the schedule. I knew he had a private jet booked for Aspen on December 26th. But I kept my mouth shut. I needed this job. My rent was up and my mom's medical bills were piling up. I thought if I just kept my head down, I'd be safe. 3 days before Christmas, the calendar invite popped up. All hands meeting, mandatory. The air in the conference room was thick enough to choke on. Sterling walked in, flanked by 2 security guards. He didn't look us in the eye. He looked at a spot on the back wall. "Family," he started. He always called us family before he heard us. "Due to unforeseen market headwinds and a difficult Q4, we have to make some heartbreaking choices to ensure the survival of this company." He didn't even read the names. He just nodded to HR. They handed out the envelopes. White envelopes for safe, pink envelopes for terminated. I got pink. "I'm sorry, Elena," Sterling said, pausing by my chair as he left. He smelled like expensive scotch and indifference. "We just can't afford a senior EA right now. It's purely budgetary." Can't afford me? I made $60,000 a year. He made that in a week. I walked back to my desk. My hands were shaking. I saw my coworkers crying. Sarah from accounting was sobbing into her phone, telling her kids Santa might not come this year. David from sales was staring blankly at the wall. Sterling retreated to his office and locked the door. That's when I saw it. Through the glass walls, he wasn't looking at spreadsheets. He was on the phone, laughing. He was pointing at his computer screen, tracing a shape with his finger. He didn't look like a man mourning his family. He looked like a kid in a candy store. I looked at my computer. HR usually cuts access within an hour. I checked the time. I probably had 30 minutes before my login died. I didn't pack my box. I stopped crying. I sat down and typed my password. Access granted. I went into his email. Not the work one, the private archive he forced me to manage but told me never to open. I searched for budget, deficit, loss. Nothing. The company accounts showed a record profit in Q3. We weren't broke, we were flush. Then I searched for wire transfer, and there it was, sent yesterday. Amount $3 million USD. Recipient, Monaco Luxury Marine Corp. Memo, final deposit, SS Sterling Custom Yacht. My stomach turned. He didn't fire 50 people to save the company. He fired us to liquidate enough cash flow to buy a floating palace. He literally traded our livelihoods for a boat. But that wasn't enough. I needed more. I needed to know he knew. I found an email thread with his CFO. "CFO, sir, if we buy the yacht, we miss the payroll buffer for January. We'd have to cut headcount by 20%. Sterling, cut them. The investors are idiots. They'll believe the market headwinds excuse. Just get me my boat by New Year's. I want to impress the new mistress." He called the investors idiots. He called us disposable. I saved everything. The invoice, the emails, the bank statements. I dragged them onto a USB drive. Ping, connection lost. IT had just cut my access, but I had the files. I walked out of that building with my head high. I didn't go home. I sat in my car in the parking lot and waited. Tonight was the Investor End-of-Year Gala, a black-tie event at the Ritz-Carlton. Sterling was giving a keynote speech about fiscal responsibility and future growth. He was going to lie to the people who held his leash. I knew his password for the presentation software. He used the same password for everything. Moneymaker1. I logged in from my phone. I accessed his cloud presentation. I didn't delete his slides. That would be vandalism. I simply updated them with the truth. I drove to the Ritz. I couldn't go in, but I pulled up the live stream on my phone. The ballroom was dripping in gold, champagne fountains, caviar stations. The people inside were eating the equivalent of my annual salary in hors d'oeuvres. Sterling took the stage. He looked charming, tanned, confident. "We've had to make tough choices," he told the crowd, putting on his sad face again, "but we are leaner, we are stronger." He clicked the remote. The screen behind him changed. It was supposed to be a bar graph of Q4 savings. Instead, it was the high-resolution photo of the SS Sterling Yacht. The murmurs murmured. "Is that a boat?" someone whispered near a microphone. Sterling froze. He clicked the remote again, panic flashing in his eyes. Next slide. The invoice, $3 million paid, with the date circled in red, the same day as the layoffs. The murmur turned into a roar. Sterling was sweating now. He was frantically hitting the escape key on the podium laptop, but I had locked the presentation mode from my phone. I swiped to the final slide, the email thread. The text was blown up huge. "The investors are idiots. Just get me my boat." The room went silent, dead silent. Then the chairman of the board stood up in the front row. He didn't look happy. He looked like an executioner. "Mr. Sterling," the chairman boomed, "step away from the podium." Security didn't come for a hacker. They came for him. I watched as 2 guards escorted Sterling off the stage. He was shouting, blaming a glitch, blaming hackers, but nobody was listening. The investors were already on their phones calling their lawyers. It was the most beautiful Christmas carol I've ever heard. By morning, the board had issued a press release. Sterling was fired for gross misconduct and embezzlement. He's currently facing an SEC investigation and multiple lawsuits. The board reinstated the laid-off staff with a 10% raise to save PR face. I didn't take my job back. I started my own consulting firm, but I did accept the whistleblower settlement check. I bought my mom a house, and for Christmas, I sent Mr. Sterling a postcard from my vacation. It was a picture of a boat. Merry Christmas, you filthy animal.